Let's talk about high lunge. Pretty simple in the name, but there are some really key things to look for in a high lunge. So in high lunge, you might start at the front of your mat and step one foot way back. And there's a few things here that different people do in different ways, and there's not necessarily a right way to do it. The first thing is the back foot. Notice how my heel is extending way back beyond the toes. That's one way to do it, that's fine. Sometimes if you're working on something specific, then maybe you want to try it with the heel over the toes, which might mean moving your front foot forward. Now, I already feel the burn a little bit, so that's probably a little more difficult there, right? But either way, depending on what you're working for, is fine. Front knee is bent at 90 degrees. So if you're up here, see if you can come a little bit lower. But again, if you are in your high lunge and you're somewhere here, it's not wrong. It's just something you're working toward to get more toward 90 degrees in the front leg. Notice your hips for a second here. If you find your hip bones, you'll see that your pelvis probably has a tendency to tilt forward, making your tailbone scoop out and back here. So one thing we want to work on in our high lunge is tilting the tailbone down toward the ground, not necessarily tucking it forward, but just pulling it down toward the ground. And the easy way to find that is by finding a slight bend in the back knee. I know that we probably have this picture in our heads of this beautiful high lunge with a long, straight back leg and everything, but sometimes with the straight leg, it's hard to tilt the pelvis for that neutral pelvis, for the tailbone reaching down to the ground. So again, we're up on the back toes, front knee is at 90 degrees, pelvis is tilted under, so maybe a slight bend in the back, in the long leg, right? And then traditionally, our arms are straight up, shoulders are reaching up out of their sockets, but not crunching up into our ears, right? So shoulders kind of roll back and down the spine, and we get really long in our arms and side body. There's tons of variations here too. You can do cactus arms, eagle arms, whatever you want. My legs are dying, so if you really want to work out, stay in high lunge for who knows how long. But that's our high lunge pose.